3, 2, 1, and we are live. Welcome, everybody, to A Nice Place to Brew. I'm Jason.
And I'm George.
Today is Thursday, August 12th. We do the webcast every Thursday here, available on Facebook and YouTube. Check out our YouTube page for all of our past broadcasts. We are closing in on 100 episodes of the A Nice Place to Brew webcast. It's approaching very quickly, and we're very excited for that. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Thank you so much for finding us. This is a show about all things beer and beer making. This is a place where we discuss homebrewing projects, beers that we've enjoyed, beers that we did not necessarily enjoy, and just a general area that we can just share knowledge of what we know about making a homebrewed beer and what we'd like to know about making homebrewed beer. So thank you so much for joining us. Please join the discussion by leaving us a comment either on Facebook and YouTube. We do respond on the show to all comments and questions that come to us, so please don't be shy. Bring them to us. Let's see, what else? We have an audio podcast under the same name, A Nice Place to Brew, that also is about all things beer and beer making, available on all the podcasting platforms. We have a website at www.aniceplacetobrew.com, and our social media links are A Nice Place to Brew and Nice Place to Brew. Welcome, everybody. Let's get to the important stuff. What is everybody drinking tonight? George?
So I have one from Calvert Brewing Company. Their label technology is a little leaves something to be desired there, but it's called I Crush a Lot. And
I Crush a Lot. Okay.
I Crush a Lot, yeah. And it's a fruit ale brewed with tart cherries and peaches. It is sessionable at 5%. So as is a bit normal with this whole fruit ale thing is I don't exactly know what kind of ale they were going for, so I guess I'll have to figure that out when I open it up. So what
Can you
about
hold up that the label part again? The packaging nerd in me is coming out.
Yeah, it didn't quite get on there quite right.
Oh, that's what that is. Oh,
yeah,
okay, come on, you
see,
guys, get that right.
You can see the label is kind of, yeah, but it's all right. We'll forgive them.
Only if the beer is really good.
That's true. This is one that Hannah picked out, which she doesn't drink beer, but she's usually very good at picking ones out for me.
All right.
It's quite carbonated. It is.
Wow, that is a lot of carbonation.
Definitely it's not very clear, but I'm thinking it's like a pale ale type base. So.
Okay.
But anyway, what about yourself?
Homebrew. This is the Hazy IPA from a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Interesting point about the carbonation. Carbonation is not holding up like I expected. And this is sitting at 10 PSI.
Okay.
So.
You could crank it up a little bit and try to get some more in.
Certainly could and certainly willing to, but let's talk about this. What are those contributing factors that could lead a beer to lose carbonation in a keg over time?
Well, if it's under pressure, if you carbonated it at a higher level than what the serving pressure is, naturally over time you're going to lose some carbonation.
Okay, that does make sense.
Given the temperature it's at and everything, you shouldn't lose that much, because your carbonation pressure was probably like, let's say 15 at most, and you're serving it at 10. It should take a good long while before that you start to lose any carbonation in there.
That does make sense, which leads to a bit of confusion for me, because this has only been in a keg for maybe 6 weeks.
Okay. Was this one of the ones we took to the wedding?
Yes. That's true. Okay, that's a good point. So those kegs did travel.
Kegs did travel and got shook around. And which one is it, Jason?
It's the Hazy IPA.
Okay, so that's also the one that froze.
Yes. Well, what we think is the line froze, not the beer.
Well, okay, could be the line froze. Well, no, actually, I don't think the line froze because it was sputtering CO2 and giving me the impression that it was empty. If the line froze, it just wouldn't have done anything. So I think more likely the beer, and we've seen beer do this when we've had it in. Remember, we used to take the kegs and put them in the cooler with ice and serve that way, since the beer we were serving was at the bottom of the keg. Once or twice,
yeah,
the beer did freeze. Now you have to be well below 0 Celsius for that to happen because of the alcohol content, but it can happen. So I think given the amount of ice that was around that keg, and with the with the way that it was being served and everything, personally, I think that's what happened. Is enough of it froze that we just saw an air pocket basically go through. That CO2 was coming in the gas, going down, and going out the beer line, and that's what's given us the illusion of it being empty. And given that, I don't know if freezing would drive CO2 out of beer in that way.
That's a little crazy to think that a beer froze over on a day that was almost 100 degrees. But you're right. It has happened before. And if you think of it like this, a keg that is pulling up from a dip tube that's sitting down at the bottom of a keg, which is the design for most kegs, the idea that the bottom layer of a keg can freeze over, not out of the question.
Right.
That was the keg with a floating dip tube, though.
Oh.
Let's think about it that way.
Okay.
So if you had ice chunks at the top, it's trying to pull liquid.
Yeah. So the floating dip tube. Now this has never happened to me, but since it was a floating dip tube, because you're right, I forgot about that part of it. There is a possibility that the tube part of it was out of the liquid, and that's why we were pulling CO2. And just shaking the keg when you moved it back caused that to kind of reset itself.
Sink down just enough that it could catch the liquid. That seems way more likely to me than the beer freezing over.
He sadly said that because we've had that happen before. So,
yeah.
And granted, it was a very, very hot day. Way too hot to be in a, 3-piece tux. But, it also was in, I think when we got there, I put it on like 7 pounds of ice. So, or no, more
like
than that.
More like 70.
20 pounds of ice or something like that. So yeah, it was a decent amount of ice in there. But yeah, certainly, since it was the floating dip tube, that certainly could have been the case. Yeah.
True.
But good news is now you have hazy that you can drink and didn't get all drank up at your reception.
There you go.
Silver lining.
Where is Polly?
I don't know. But hey, for as much as that beer produced all that head, it's all gone now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Can you shake that around a little bit?
I mean,
are you getting any residual bubbles? Okay. All right.
It has like no head retention at all.
No head retention, and you can't keep a label on. This is not a glowing day for what's the brewery name?
I almost don't want to say now. It was Calvert Brewing Company.
Okay, all right. Where are they out of?
I'm assuming they're local, but I'm not entirely sure. I'll look that up in a second. Okay, so I am getting some tartness, and I wasn't sure if that was intended to be like a sour, but no, it's tart cherries and peaches that's in it. So that's probably where I'm getting the tartness from.
Okay. Which group are we in? Hold on. Sorry. This is not good broadcasting, but I am sending out some links here. Okay. Welcome, everybody who is catching this webcast for the first time. We have a very special guest we would like to welcome from the world-famous Route 66 Old School Brewing in Wilmington, Illinois, Mr. Paulie Bidney. How are you, sir?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good. Just in time for us to talk about a beer we call
Save the
It's in
clock
the
tower.
title of the episode. Save the clock tower.
Save the clock tower.
Yes, and it was fun to make.
It was.
To answer the question, Calvert is from Maryland. Is a Maryland craft brew company.
Okay.
Oh, it's not a question you asked, Paulie. It was because of the beer that I'm drinking. It's in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, which is not too far away from here, kind of DMV area. So,
Okay.
what do you got there tonight, Paulie?
Actually, I'm drinking the West Coast right now because I had a few. I had a few of the Save the Clock Towers already today. You know, had to do quality control today. So,
Sure.
And it's all up and running. Got a JBG member here sitting there enjoying one right now, along with a few regulars. And the reason why I was a few minutes late to jump on was I am in the process of constructing something. Metal Monkey has a 3-bottle filler. Well, I am building a 4-bottle filler now.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Now, we saw their line when we were there, their canning line. It kind of moves it through like a traditional canning line. It weighs it, does all of that stuff. It's pretty nice. Is that what you're trying to mimic there?
No, we're doing a bottling line.
Oh, a bottling, not canning. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, let me see if I can see it back there. See it back there in the background? The yellow thing?
The yellow,
You just see the platform. That's it.
Yeah.
It's a little blurry, but...
Yeah, it is. I mean, I was thinking about taking some pictures, but I had to hurry up and get on, and I can't stay too terribly late today or on tonight because I got to go do some plumbing work this weekend, and I got to go look at it tonight so I can get material lists and everything for everybody. You know?
Sure.
So I figured I'd jump on for a few minutes. We can talk about it, see what's going on. And then when it's time for me to go, it's time for me to go.
All right. Sounds good.
Enough.
Don't let us hold you up.
Yeah.
No, I won't. I'm just sitting here kind of hanging out right now. Trust me.
Right.
You won't be holding me up.
So, Jason, you went down there yesterday and bottled up our Save the Clock Tower brew. Did a can or two get put in the Send Georgia Snow Globe category?
Maybe.
It did.
Maybe not.
It did, but we could. No, you gotta be nice to him because you gotta be honest. By the time we didn't get it on before we opened, so I usually with something like that I have to wait till I gotta do it before we open because I don't want customers seeing me walking out with 4 cans of unmarked cans. You know,
Sure.
It looks bad.
Yeah.
So I just that just means Jason's got to come down and have a beer one weekend. I think he's very upset about that.
Oh, shucks.
Sure, he's broken up.
I know.
You see the anger in my face.
Yeah, really angry.
Yes, exactly.
So, how long's it been on tap there? Is it just today?
Yeah. Yesterday. No, today.
Yesterday,
Well,
okay.
no, yesterday was on. No,
I think
actually.
officially today, right?
Officially today.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. The only reason it was on tap, the only reason I put it on tap yesterday, was so we could take the picture for social media, and then so Jason and I could do quality control real quick before, and then so Tina could taste it too, and you know. It was fun. I'm glad Jason came down for it. I hope he had fun doing it. I hope you had fun at the same time. And I look forward to doing this again in the future because that was fun.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
Paulie, you're an excellent teacher.
Yeah. I try and have
stages of
patience.
you've had some other people drinking it, other people than us that have a vested interest in it being good. What kind of feedback are you getting so far down there at Route 66?
Well, everybody likes it so far from what I've seen here.
Okay.
But like I said, I haven't. It's just the first day, and really, it doesn't go on sale to the public to tomorrow because today it's on for our Mug Club members.
Oh, because Friday's your regular release day, right?
Yeah. So that's one of the perks of being a Mug Club member down here, is that you could you get to try the beer, the new release the day before it goes on sale.
do you guys do like mug club events and things like that?
Oh yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, we have all kinds of stuff. Like Monday is Mug Club Monday, where all day long you get all the mug clubbers get $1 off their pours. So actually, it works out pretty. It works out for these mug clubs. It's really good because Monday, well, we have our happy hour Monday through Thursday, which between 4 and 6 you get $1 off pints.
Right.
So now you throw the mug club Monday on top of that. Now mug clubbers are getting 2.50 off their pints on Mondays alone.
Nice. Okay,
So
so the reason I ask is because, I've been looking at some things, and some people have. That's like kind of a chief complaint of people that kind of buy into mug clubs is like a lot of breweries will talk a big game of having like release parties and events and all kinds of stuff, and obviously you get, you know, a pour in your mug, which is like 20 ounces versus 16 or something like that. But
correct.
a lot of other breweries are frankly dropping the ball on what they promised their mug club members.
Yeah, that's the one thing. That's the one thing I gotta admit that we do down here. Our mug club members are taken very well taken care of.
That's good.
You know,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
very like it's even to the point like if you want to join, say you wanted to join halfway through the year, because mug club dues are due on the 1st of September every year. But say you wanted to join it in May, so if you wanted to pay the full $75, you could then you still get like when you sign up. You think, what do you get? You get a T-shirt. Or I'm sorry, you get a logo glass, a koozie, a sticker, your mug that's assigned to you. You actually get to pick what number you want. We have a members only mug club party. What else do we do? There's a few other things. I mean, there's so many perks here that I just forget about it. And really, to me, I'm not a mug club member. I don't have to worry about it. So, uh, let's say
Just
if you
make the
want,
beer.
yeah, I just make it for these people, for these
Yeah.
fuckers. Uh, but so besides that, now that's one of the major perks of it. So Friday, you can try it before everybody can. So usually Fridays we have it's pretty busy between 4 and 6 with all the mug clubbers coming in to try the beer. Like right now, let me see, sitting at the bar, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 7 people here, and there's only one person or 2 people that's not a mug clubber. One of them's my buddy's girlfriend that's in from out of town.
Okay.
I mean, she'll probably join the mug club next month because the membership opens up on September 1st. So why spend the money for 1 month and you
Sure.
have to pay the money again in September?
So you guys don't do any prorating, huh?
Oh, we do, but the
Oh, you
thing
do?
is,
Okay.
we do. But the thing is, if we prorate it for you, you don't get all the gifts.
Got it. Okay.
If you want it prorated, yeah, you can still get in and like say $30 or whatever it is, but then you don't get all the perks for it. Like you don't get the T-shirt, hat, the T-shirt, the sticker, the mug, blah blah blah. The list of those. It's like a whole page of crap that these guys get. I mean, if I wasn't the brewer here and I was close to this place, I'd come here all the time. Of course, be a mug club member. Hell, we got 3 JBG members that are mug club members now.
Oh wow, 3 of us. Nice.
Yeah, we got Steiny. I see Steiny sitting over at the edge of the bar right now. We got our president, Kevin Promise is a mug club member. And wait a minute, George, what kind of glass are you drinking out of? Did I see? Is that an old school glass? That's awesome. I just happened to see that on the corner of my eye.
I was wondering how long that would take.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's one of my glasses, but I threw that koozie that I have.
Oh,
on
that's
there.
right. You got the koozie. I forgot about that.
That is awesome.
That is really cool. Like I happen, like I'm sitting here while talking, and out of the corner of my eye, I'm like, wait, I recognize that logo. And then Brian Mazeka, he's a member too.
Okay.
So I mean, if you come down here enough, it's well worth it. You probably get your money's worth in the first like 2 or 3 weeks of being here.
Yeah.
Especially like if you come here 2-3 times a week. It's an extra 4 ounces per pour, so you have 3 or 4 beers a night. That's an extra beer that you're getting for free.
Okay. So yeah,
Everybody's got to be happy that Route 66 merch is being felt all the way to Virginia.
Oh yeah, I gotta make sure I say I'm gonna tell some. I'm gonna tell my
You should.
bartender.
You
I will.
should. Yeah.
Too bad I won't see. Too bad Tina and Steve aren't here.
Okay.
I'll definitely tell them about it when I talk to them tomorrow. Tomorrow's brew day. I get to brew the winning beer from the
that Marzen?
home. Yep, that Marzen.
So
Okay.
I did want to talk about that. We are already into August. So talking about Oktoberfest beers is not inappropriate now. We have reached that point.
Yeah, but okay, so the question becomes, it is now August. Sam Adams, I think, has already released theirs.
So has on tour. So I mean,
Yeah.
anybody pretty much was funny. I was drinking on tour's Oktoberfest on like July 23rd.
So the question becomes, are you too late? Are you behind the ball?
Well, not really, because we're only going to be making 2.5 barrels of it, and it's all going to be in house. And we're actually, in my opinion, I'm brewing it just in time. The day that the week it'll be ready is the week of our Oktoberfest party
Okay.
that we're having.
So that was going to be my next question. So it's a lager, traditionally brewed in March to allow it time to condition and everything. Do you think you have enough time to?
Oh yeah, I
be
mean,
able
Okay, hold on. Hold on.
What?
Let's be real here. That
What?
tradition that the beers are being made in March, you're talking about ages where, prior to refrigeration. One does not need to make a Marzen starting in March in order to make a legit.
First of all, I don't have a cave. I don't have a stupid cave. I mean, what am I going to do? Roll it in the river?
Right. That's exactly.
Roll it down the mill race? Put it in the basement?
You have glycol, so but part of it is lagering and making sure you can get it to the right temperature. And yes, that took longer back in the day, but part of it is conditioning too.
Yeah,
Once you're done with the lagering process, you drop it down to near freezing, and you let it condition. You let it sit and
3 to
develop
4
those
weeks
flavors.
will be fine.
Yeah.
3 to 4 weeks will be fine.
All right.
Because really, I mean, when you think about it, some lagers, like they're only doing it at like 40, 45, 50 degrees. I'm doing mine at 32, 33, 34.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. None of that debris or anything hanging out is going to survive in the liquid at that point. It's all just going to fall.
Drop out, yeah.
Right.
And, it's kind of funny because I just started my diacetyl rest. It was Tuesday. I raised the temperature. I didn't check it today. I'll have to go do that before I leave because do you remember what it was at yesterday, Jason? It was like almost 50 degrees, right? When we were looking at it.
Yes.
Well, that wasn't my Oktoberfest. That was
the Mexican lager.
Yeah, but it's still, I'm getting ready to lager that because it's at terminal already. So, and the thing about my system is the glycol doesn't heat it; it just cools it. So I'm trying to get all that liquid up to ambient temperature. That was at 50 degrees for 3 weeks. So now it's on its way up. You know what? Give me a second. I'm gonna go see what temperature we're at now because I'm kind of curious.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the meantime, have your ingredients arrived?
My ingredients, no, not yet. But I did want to talk about my homebrew because I just put my second keg of my Saison on, which has conditioned, if you will, in my refrigerator, much to my wife's chagrin, while the other one was on tap. And I just put the new one on tap and carbonated it. And to be honest, the flavors have developed a little bit more than I expected, in a better direction than I expected they would. I expected that they were going to be, that I was going to end up tossing this keg. I'm still getting a little bit of astringency, I think, from the way that I did the cinnamon and everything that I don't quite like. But it's not, it seems to have mellowed out a little bit with this second keg.
So let's go back in time a little bit. The first keg, For the viewers who have not seen the previous episode, can you talk about what those flavors were like, what you liked, what you didn't
Sure.
like, and then what it's like now?
So what I'm talking about is I attempted to make a cinnamon saison. That was my goal. And so I did that by throwing some cinnamon sticks in at flame out during the whirlpool, and allowed that flavor to kind of get into the beer that way.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I don't think that it incorporated well, and may have introduced some astringency that I didn't like. Next time, I've actually talked about making a tincture with a cinnamon tincture, and tossing that in, and that's how I plan on introducing the cinnamon into the system.
Okay.
But the with this first keg, when it was really young, I didn't really see that all that much. But as the flavors started to develop and change a little bit, that came out some more. So my concern was, because the other one, even though I purged the keg and just hit it with CO2 enough that it stopped, I could tell that it was full and at pressure. I took it off pressure, and it's been sitting in my refrigerator since then. And that's been 2 months now. So it's been essentially conditioning for that long in a purged keg. And so when I put it on, now that my first one kicked, I was a little afraid that I was just going to get hit in the face with that astringency, or hit in the face with kind of an infected character. But I didn't get that. I got a much more mellow flavor than I expected. I'm still not getting cinnamon the way that I wanted to. But,
Okay.
I'm not. It's settling into a pretty solid saison flavor.
Nice. Okay.
Look what I got today in the mail.
Oh, you're testing your water?
Look at that.
I got my summer ward report, because I know, like I was telling Jason yesterday, I'm noticing a huge difference in my pH right now.
Yeah.
Compared to what I was doing back when I first tested the system. I was able to get my water down to like 5.7, 5.5 with just, salts. Now, after I add my salts, it's still in the sevens. So now it's time to
Time
do
to
the
test.
time to test. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then I was talking to Steve today too, and he said, when the water heats up and all the rains that we've had, they have to treat the water a little bit more. So, I mean, I'm doing this just to see what it's going to look like, because I still have my old ward report in my brew book.
Okay.
So I'm going to be really curious to see what it's like at the end of, because it's been almost a year since I tested it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to believe the end of next month, in about a month, it'll be a year since I started here already. And I'm on batch 40 something.
Jeez.
Yeah. And it's fun, because I'm so glad now we're caught up. Like, I have all my lines with everyone except for one. At least two.
Oh crap! I thought I hit mute. Sorry.
You
At
did,
least-
and then you unmuted yourself. It was fine. Anyway.
Yeah, and then you see, then that doesn't count all the batches that I've done 2 turns of too.
Right.
So I probably brewed way over 52 batches of beer.
That's impressive, Polly.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. I've almost had a new release every week since I started, almost. And now it's kind of funny, because I got this one bartender, and Jason met him last night. Ken, he's the newest JBG member now too. Like, this whole time, like I always tell these people, I'm like, quit drinking all the goddamn beer, save some for everybody else. And they're like, well, you need to brew more. Well, now I get to turn it around on them. I'm like, dude, I brewed it all. Why is everybody drinking it? You need to drink more beer, or you need to sell more beer. Bottom line.
So, Paulie, can you walk us through these pictures?
Yes. You want to do the share? Hit the share screen.
Yeah.
I figured.
Okay.
I figured since I was there, I could at least tell you what they were. So let's start with the first green one. Yes, that's the front of Dan and Jason's 3-head fillet. So I don't know if you see the new counter pressure fillers that we have out there. That blue handle. I don't know if you can see. There's that blue handle right there.
Right here.
Yeah.
That's a 3-position switch. When it's like that in the middle, it's off. When you have it to the red hose, that's gas. The clear line, it's liquid. So what you do is you put the bottle on the bottling thingy in there. You push it over to the red side, and you're purging all the oxygen out. And then what? You out of here, Greg? I'll see you soon, bud. Thanks for coming in. Oh, that's like continuous. And so once you purge all the oxygen out, you pull the lever all the way to the clear side, and now you're going to fill it. And then it comes out that T right there. So that's the front of it. That's what it looks like when you're standing there operating it. Now you can go to the other picture. Not that one. The other green one. Oh, yeah. There you go. That's the plumbing back there.
Okay. You
Um,
all right, Polly?
I'm fine. I've just got
All
that
right.
little bug stuck in my throat. Trust me, it's not COVID. That's your gas distribution right there. You got a 4-way distributor, and then you got I should have got a picture of the 2-way. The 2-way's hanging out up 2-way's hanging off the side. So what you do is you got off the 2-way, you got the feed of the 2-way that comes off your regulator, and then you got one branch of that 2-way. It goes to feed this 4-way. And then the other one that you can see right here, that's a tapper. So it goes to feed your keg or your tank or whatever you're filling with, whatever vessel you're using to fill with. So that's how you distribute your air. And then over here, where that, Jason, you want to put that chrome and duct tape? Go back to the other picture. Other picture. Okay. Oh, no, the other one, the back side of it. Nope. There we go. Yes. See that? See where the bottle is? You see that chrome thing and the black thing?
Yes.
Right there. That's a tri-clamp with a nut. And then you go up there. There's a T right above it. That feeds your first filler. You go over. You see that other piece of hose coming up and over?
Yeah,
That's
in
number
between
2.
the gas lines.
Correct. And then it comes out of the picture, and then it goes up and over, and that feeds number 3. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
It does. So if you go back to the first picture, okay.
Yep.
So for each one you open, that opens it for that bottle, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And so if you just wanted to do 1 bottle or 2 bottles, you just keep them in the off position. Does that make sense?
It does. So, but when you open it up, does it start filling the bottle?
As soon
Or
as
is
I,
there?
as soon as
Go
I
ahead.
put it in, as soon as I put it to liquid side, as soon as I move the handle over to liquid side, it
As soon
fills
as
the
you
bottle.
move the handle over to the liquid side, like that one on the right is.
Yep, exactly. Because that handle is that's like what we call it a 3-way valve.
Okay, so if you
Yeah.
move it to the right, you get gas.
Yeah.
Move it
and
to
you
the
move
left,
it to
you
the left, you get liquid.
You get liquid. Okay.
You keep it in the middle, it's off.
I can see that
So
being
there's no
really
au-
usation on a homebrew setup. Sorry, Jason.
There's no automation here, correct? This is all being done by hand.
Yeah, it's called poly automation.
This is a poly operating system.
Yeah, poly. What part of old school brewing do you guys not understand here? You know, no automation, no percentages, no exact numbers. You just make it work.
Okay, but Polly, you've known me long enough that this won't be a surprise. My brain just went, how can I integrate a scale?
Oh God, give it up. Give it up. Hey guys, hold on for a
valve.
quick second. Yeah. Hold on for a quick second.
Okay. Because you could, so you put a scale underneath each of the guys there. You do a computer-controlled valve to replace that manual one. You tell it the computer-controlled valve to go to gas for X amount of seconds for the bottle. flip over to liquid until the scale hits a certain level, turn off the valve, turn on a light to let you know it's done. You take it off, you do it, then you replace it, and you move on. You
Just
do it again.
activated by the weight on each one. That makes total sense.
Yeah, because, then it gets to a certain weight, and you take it off, you cap it, you put the next one in, you press the button, and it does the next one. Take a little bit of engineering, but it could work.
It absolutely could. I'm picturing the beer gun right now.
Yeah, so...
This is a commercial version of the beer gun.
Hey.
I'm not wrong. Look at it.
No, but Sean is on point as well.
Oh, okay. Is Sean's giving us comments?
Do you see what he's saying there?
No,
put it up on the
no.
screen. Poly operating system, aka POS.
You're not wrong, Sean.
Oh man.
What else we got here? Like, there's.
Yeah, what is
this
that red
makes sense to me. The other picture that we looked at makes sense also.
This must be what Polly's building.
I guess. Yeah, this isn't clear at all.
This isn't complete at all. This is the beginning.
Right. Okay, so I'm seeing a distributor, a regulator, gas line tubing. Okay, what else we got here?
There's a counterflow chiller. Not counterflow. Counter pressure filler right there on the left. That is a pipe cutter right in front of it.
Okay, yeah.
From Polly's toolkit. See a tri-clamp that's probably going to go to the gas line. Right there, that with that blue gasket. Yeah, right under your cursor there. Yeah. Yeah, this is still in the works.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this
is the backside of the same thing.
Yeah, just the backside of the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I was thinking, like, this isn't a bad setup for a homebrew, for a homebrew setup, and have it so you can, the best way I could think to do it for a homebrew setup is you have something to where you can put the beer on a platform and then set the platform up and have a way to drop the platform away so you can take the bottle out and put the next one in. That's the best way I could think to do it.
In an automated, much larger setup, yes.
No. In a homebrew setup with a single filler.
Wow. See, that seems really advanced for a homebrewing setup. If you had something like automated to drop out after a certain point.
I'm just thinking of my beer gun and how I don't know if you kind of experience this too, but when I use the beer gun, I find it to be a little unwieldy sometimes. There's usually a lot of line, both gas and liquid and everything, and it's
that's fair.
It's a little bit of a pain. So if I could mount it to a frame, I think it would make it easier to use.
Wow. Okay, I never thought of that.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay, so let me play around with this. Okay, if you had something on a frame, you would then manually just put push the bottles upward into it.
Right, and then hit the thing.
Okay.
Drop the bottle out, and then put the next one in. But you wouldn't have to worry about actually holding the bottle, holding the beer gun, and doing all of that. Do you see what I'm saying?
That's the part that loses me though, because I think that part of it is just way too advanced for home brewing. I could easily see somebody just putting one bottle up, taking it down, grabbing another bottle, doing the same thing.
No, that's what I'm talking
so on
about.
And so forth.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about though is without a frame, in a standard homebrew setup. I don't know about you, but mine's kind of built into my keezer. That when I pick it up, I've got a gas line and a liquid line that are coming off this thing.
That's what I have too.
They tend to get tangled up because they're so long, and
yes, they do.
It's just a gigantic pain in the ass. Whereas if you could have it go out of your keezer to a setup next to it that is a frame that it sits in, that all you gotta do is pull the trigger.
Right. Okay,
feel like that
I'm
would
with
be
you. I'm with
easier.
you now. I'm with you. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay. So you don't have the part where there's some kind of automated system that's
No. Yeah.
that's pushing the bottle up and then pushing it down after.
No,
it's done. Okay. all right.
No, I mean, let's not kid ourselves. I would probably do something like that eventually just cuz, but not no, that's not what I'm talking about for this.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Well, I think this has potential. And I think before Blickman jumps onto this, that the three of us should design a prototype.
Right.
And we'll call it POS.
POS. The poly operating system.
Yes.
Yeah. All credit to Sean and proceeds to us.
Yes. Well, we may have lost Polly for the night.
It seems that way.
So let's talk about your homebrewing adventures. So the ingredients are being pushed off for a little bit?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
My brew day has been pushed off for a little bit. Story of my life right now, but
Okay.
is coming. And I think it'll work out nicely because my parents are coming into town soon. So having a new beer on tap when they get here would be nice.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to have enough time?
That's the question, isn't it? Yeah, I got to figure that out. I'd have to brew probably next weekend for that to be true, and even that might be pushing it a little bit. So we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you certainly could brew on a weekday.
Yeah.
I know it seems like a stretch, but
Yeah, I totally
wouldn't be
get
the
what
first
you're saying.
time.
It wouldn't be the first time, and work keeps me busy, so it would definitely have to be afterwards, and it would certainly make for a long day. But yeah, you're not wrong.
I worked a half day yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I traveled to Wilmington, which is a good 45-minute drive from the house. I worked with Paulie for a good 5.5 hours between kegging the beer, cleaning out the fermenter, which is, I mean, their CPB is a 4-step process.
Why?
Well, okay, so first, when the vessel is, let's see if I can remember this. First thing, obviously, make sure everything's empty. You do the caustic rinse, mixed with hot water, of course, because it has to be hot. You know, caustic, as Paulie very accurately said, is basically PBW on steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, you do the caustic rinse first, drain it out, leave everything empty, and then you do a hot water rinse, which the hot liquor tank becomes the source for, because he's got 95 gallons of 173 degree water at any given point.
Mm-hmm.
So the water's always ready, and that's enough to wash it away. Then there's a third process, which is an acid wash, which is designed specifically to get rid of the residual caustic that's in the tank.
Interesting. Okay.
So some research was done, and there's evidence to show that a hot water rinse after caustic is not enough to get everything.
Okay.
So there's probably some different schools of thought on that, but that's Paulie's belief, and that's kind of what they've adopted there at Route 66.
So he does hot water, caustic, acid, and then what? And then just water?
Yeah, I need to consult the master here as far as the fourth step, because I'm drawing a blank on that.
Okay. It might just be a rinse after that.
Yeah.
Some water. But yeah. Okay, so Sean, I hear you. A couple zip ties, zip tie the beer line to the gas line. I've thought about that too. Haven't implemented it, but I've definitely thought about that for my beer gun. Probably would make things a little easier. The problem is, usually when I think about that is when I'm done using it and I'm like, well, that was a giant pain in the ass. And then I immediately forget about that until next time. And when it's a giant pain in the ass, I'm like, I should do something about that, and then I forget about it, and then another rinse repeat.
Sorry about that, guys.
No, you're fine.
Buddy of mine, when I'm going to look at the plumbing, he came here, and then I wanted to show them the build that I'm doing, and then I just got a text from Steve and Tina. They're going to be up here in 15 minutes. So
Okay, so we're talking about the cleaning cycle that you guys do in your keg. So Sean is saying they do a caustic rinse, water rinse, sanitizer, but they do an acid every 5 turns. So Jason was kind of describing a slightly more intense process that you guys go through. You do, what did you say? You said
rinse,
caustic, acid, sanitizer.
rinse, caustic, water, acid, sanitizer.
5.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
I'm going by per what the manufacturer states you should do. Because I've had a real long conversation with my with Ashley, my rep from Country Mall, because I was the caustic I was using, I was just following what the last guy was doing, and that's the way he did it, and those are the chemicals he used. And then once I started getting into it, I was like, man, it'd be nice to maybe cut out like either an acid rinse or a water rinse. So I reached out to my rep and I told her my concerns, and then she actually went ahead and she reached out to some of her people on her end, and then come to find out that most caustic nowadays, you can't just use water because water will not get it all out. So you need a combination of water and acid rinse to actually get all the caustic out of your vessel.
Okay, so Sean, quick question for you. I know, so Polly uses a true caustic. I know some breweries that just use basically PBW. What do you use at for your caustic rinse? Is it PBW or is it something a little bit more intense? And while we wait on that, okay, so yeah, I've heard that too, Polly. Is that a lot of the more hardcore caustics? Like what do you use? What's it called? Your caustic rinse?
It's called this Chem Station. I think 1085 is the number, I believe.
Okay.
And then Chem Station is just what we use. But I'm gonna probably end up dropping Chem Station because at first I didn't want to change anything, but now that I've been here for almost a year, I'm starting to try it. I only really want to use 2 or 3 vendors now, and so if I could do honestly, I only if it wasn't for one supplier supplying a couple of grains that I like, especially specialties and some base grain. If it wasn't for that one vendor, if it wasn't for them being BSG exclusive, I'd probably go strictly with one person because my representative, Ashley, is truly amazing.
Nice.
She works so hard. I give her a question. She may not get back to me for a day or two, but in that time that she's getting it, she has every answer, even for follow-up questions I know she knows I'm going to ask.
Okay, that's good.
So she's really good.
So, Sean, given that information, because I've heard that about caustic washes too, that just a regular water wash won't do the trick. Do you have any concerns about that with the caustic wash that you use, or have you heard kind of conflicting information about that?
Yeah.
So,
while we're waiting for that, Paulie,
yeah.
On the topic of the sanitizer.
Yes.
On a homebrew scale, we're all used to using Star San because it's very accessible and easy to use. What's the equivalent at Route 66's level?
Star San.
Do you use the same Star San that homebrewers are using?
I do, but I also use peracetic acid too.
Okay.
I also use peracetic acid.
So how's the sequence go? Like what follows what?
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, is it the peracetic acid first, followed by the the Star San or
No,
vice
no, no,
versa?
no, no, no. It's either Star San or paracetic acid.
Oh, okay.
So Star San I use for sport bottles.
Okay, okay.
If I'm making up a quick bucket of sanitizer, to soak something like soak a line or something like that. Uh, that's about it. Or if my bartenders want to make some sanitizer, right? My bartenders need to make sanitizer. But everything else, like we remember when we on those brew days when I was sanitizing the vessel, or when we would sanitize the fermenter, that's all paracetic acid. Because with all that movement, if I were to use Star San, think about the fucking foamy mess I have to do.
That's why I'm thinking to myself, there has to
Yeah.
be something different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can
it's
see
like
paracetic acid.
I have a low foam or no foam sanitizer.
Okay.
Okay. So Sean says that he has put this much thought into it, which I think is fair. Not a lot of people have. And they have learned it from Workforce, which don't we all? Isn't that all how we all learn how to do this stuff? Is someone else did it this way, and so we're gonna give it a shot. But he says he hasn't had any.
No, I agree with this is the way someone else did it, but no, it wasn't. It's kind of funny because I give Brando and Workforce and Chicago Brewers a lot of respect. I really do.
Right.
But I mean, I can count on one hand the amount of times I bought something from. I can count on one time. I can literally count on one hand the amount of times I've bought something. We use
iodine.
Star San.
Oh, he's using like Iodophor. Okay.
Yeah.
No, but I can literally count on one hand the amount of stuff that I've actually bought from Workforce. And the only reason I got it from Workforce is because I couldn't get it everywhere.
No. He's saying
Being a
that,
former employee.
Yeah. So, but anyway, he said he hasn't had any problems with beer. So, Paulie, as someone that has worked with a lot of technology manufacturers and things, one of the things I would say, and Jason, I imagine Berlin does this frequently too, is they err completely on the side of caution. Like, I'm sure Berlin has, if you're going to ship our bottles, it should be in 6 layers of bubble wrap or Berlin approved packaging or some nonsense like that. Like, that's the kind of thing that they kind of have to do. But, I wonder if and I'm sure there's nothing wrong with what you're doing
Sorry.
I'm sure there's nothing wrong with what you're doing as a procedure, but I do wonder if it's a bit over the top. But to be honest, I mean, over the top or not, you're gonna get good results out of it. It's just gonna take more of your day to do it,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I'm sorry to cut you guys short, but I got to get going here. It was
Okay.
nice talking to you. And I got to say one thing while Sean's watching because I didn't get to say it to him yesterday. I did like your sour IPA, but when you put lacto in it, you have no fucking reason to call it an IPA. You motherfucker, you tricked me. You and you goddamn hype fucking breweries out there in the north of 80. Fucking thinking
Hype breweries.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna start breaking them up.
Words, man. There's gonna be a Route 66 Mad Hatchet feud going on here.
Oh, man.
Swords have been drawn.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'll take the hillbillies down there than anybody north of 80 any day.
Oh, man.
All right, guys. Cheers.
All right.
Have a good time. I'll talk
All
to you
right.
later.
Have a good one,
Later
Paul.
Yeah. But I mean,
Okay.
Jason, you know what I'm talking about. With
I do, and I think your point is well
recommendations.
taken. I do think we could have a panel discussion about this, and if we had 6 people, I'm sure there'd be 3 people on one side and 3 on the other.
No, if we had 6 people, there'd be 7 opinions. Like, that is just the nature of this. But yeah, just from, when I always take manufacturers' recommendations with a grain of salt, and I think that's for good reason. You know?
Boy, we can go down a rabbit hole with this one.
Yeah, we certainly can.
Yeah, because honestly, I heard that. Here's the thing, and I'm not calling you out on this, but I did hear that same statement from a car mechanic one time, that I couldn't take the direction from the owner's manual that I had, because
Right.
they don't know everything about what's going on, and I immediately fired him. I never ever went back to that place.
No,
So basically, his statement to me was, "Okay, you know my car better than its own manufacturer, and you're completely full of shit."
well, but there's an element of, and this is kind of where I'm showing, is there's an element of truth to that. Yeah, they built it, but he's the guy that gets to see it and gets to take care of it 30,000 miles down the road and see how it's performing and everything. So, you know, that there's an element of experience in that is not to be discounted. Like, I understand what you're saying of, oh, we just throw the owner's manual and you'll do it my way. Yeah, fire that guy. I get it. But, you know, to somebody to say, yeah, they say this, but really our experience says that it should be done at this, that's not something that is, again, to be completely discounted in my mind. Does that make sense?
It does. And that's an interesting perspective. Yeah. I'm open to it.
To Sean's point, it's very expensive. What he's doing, using acid wash and caustic and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Are you not seeing the pop-ups?
Oh, no, it's coming up now. It was a little slow.
That's a very expensive way to do caustic in place. And effective, yes. Necessary, that's the debate,
Okay.
Yeah. I do think acid washes are necessary, at least periodically, and I kind of like what Sean is thinking, doing it every 5 times, because then that just gives a nice clean rinse and gets any residue and things out of it, so you don't have any buildup over time. But yeah, it's an interesting... Yeah, if esoteric gets discussion.
Just clean your shit, people. That's what it comes down to.
That's true about your brewing equipment and yourself.
And honestly, let me just be the complete idiot for a second. I don't know if any of these statements are incorrect. I mean, the key is just to pay attention and make sure that you have a process that you're comfortable with and you're confident is cleaning your equipment. And so if something feels off, I do think there's just a natural sense that brewers build with when things are right and when they're not. Right.
Do we want to send Sean the link? He just got home and is
yes, absolutely.
All right. Can you handle that? I don't think.
I can.
Okay.
Here, keep talking. I need a minute.
So here's the thing: it's like on a homebrew scale, which is what this show is supposed to be geared towards. We use PBW, and PBW is designed to need to be rinsed. You can't just use it as a caustic and then go brew in it. You do have to rinse it out, and you do want to make sure you're rinsing it out and getting the any kind of filmy residue from it out of the system. But as far as acid washes and things on a homebrew scale, it's overkill. It's absolutely overkill. Maybe if you're gonna do it, maybe once a year kind of thing. But that's one of the nice parts about PBW. Just to put that out there. So
the nice thing about PBW is
that you can rinse it out. That you don't need an acid wash to rinse it out.
Exactly.
It's designed for that. So,
I think the one thing to reiterate, and this is well documented in the instructions, is after you've done a PBW wash, make sure that water is hot.
While too, use hot water.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the recommendation
it,
temperature is like 150 degrees that the powder is supposed to mix at.
Is it that high? I thought it was 120.
I think it is. I think somewhere between there, 120, 150. Regardless, hot.
Okay.
and your rinse afterwards has to be hot too. And if your water's not hot enough, you will know because it's going to leave residue.
Right. It's going to
And that
feel
residue is a
kinda
pain in the ass to get to
filmy.
clean up. Yeah.
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 So
Yeah. It's not the funnest thing to deal
it's
with.
not pleasant. No.
No.
But yeah. But yeah, as he said, clean your shit. Yeah, and since this has kind of turned into a conversation about cleaning, there's only so much you can do for soft line. You know, soft line's one of those things that you have to replace periodically. Be that it, you know, and when I say that, the high temperature flexible line tends to stand up longer, especially if you run, you know, rinse it really good with water afterwards and run like PBW and things like that through it. But it's that clear, like 3/8 inch flexible line that we all use for beer lines and beer guns and stuff like that. That's the stuff that needs to be replaced periodically.
Well, number one, replacing that tubing is very inexpensive.
Yes.
Inexpensive, and if you're in a major city, the tubing is also very accessible. You know, you can go to nearby shops, you can shop online. It's inexpensive and very accessible to find new tubing.
Yeah, your average hardware store has it. Like hell, my gas station general store has it. So, you know, if I can find it 10 minutes from my house, anybody can.
Well, that's interesting. Okay, are we talking food grade tubing?
Yes. Well,
really, from that little shop nearby,
a lot of agricultural stuff around. So, yeah.
Oh, I guess that would make sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's basically silicon tubing,
right?
Which you're gonna be hard pressed to find silicon tubing that isn't food grade. So.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah.
I'm just picturing that little shop.
Yeah, he pulled it out. He's like, "How
Getting
much do you want?"
Food grade tubing from
friggin' 10 feet. All right, you know.
That'll be $3 or whatever it is.
I don't remember. I actually do remember it being a little bit more expensive than I wanted it to
not
be,
by
but,
much.
Yeah, but yeah, it was. But yeah, it was there.
Good deal. I mean, the toughest part about it is cutting the tubing and just setting everything up.
Yeah, honestly, the toughest part sometimes is getting it onto the connections, and the best way to do that is to heat it.
This is good. This is good.
Yeah. If you have a heat gun, if you're careful with that, you can heat it up with that without melting it. But if you don't, or you don't want to worry about melting it, best way I found is near boiling water.
Yep.
And stick the end of the hose in the water for...
It only needs to be an inch or two. That's all it needs to be in the water.
Just the tip.
Yep.
My God, it's one of those nights. For what? 30 seconds a minute?
You know what? I did that just a couple weeks ago. It's...
Well, for me, and like I said, I was using damn near boiling water. 30 seconds to a minute softened it up enough that I could get it onto my auto siphon easy enough. And the nice part about that is if you get the really small tubing, number one, you don't need a lot of pressure if you're using it on a beer line, and number two, I still recommend using hose clamps, but just when it cools, it's going to clamp down.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't think there's any excuse for not using hose clamps.
Yeah, I agree, but it's going to clamp down when it cools, and it really creates a good seal on it. So
I've told this story here on the webcast before. Actually, just recently, and it's worth repeating. I had the most ridiculous gas leak I've ever had, like a month and a half ago.
Oh yeah? What happened?
I had a gas leak because there was a little bit of liquid underneath the gas side of one of my kegs.
Really?
And I couldn't get rid of it for the life of me until I disconnected it, wiped it down with a rag, and then resealed everything. And then problem solved.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just enough to create a channel through the gasket?
Just enough that air was able to escape.
Huh.
Ladies and gentlemen, this man needs no introduction. From Mad Hatchet Brewing in Shorewood, Illinois. What was it that Paulie falsely called you guys? A hype brewery out of Shorewood, Illinois.
That's because
Mr. Sean McTiggy. How are you, sir?
Good. That's because that sour milkshake IPA.
I believe it was a north of I-80 hype brewery.
Well, that's weird for me because I-80's right there and I'm just south of it. But the brewery is a little north. But
so you can fight on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Right on.
Yeah, I'll just see whichever side's winning.
So here's the point where if I had one, I'd switch this to a Mad Hatchet.
I think that's a call out for swag. Just saying.
We can make that happen. We can make it happen, yeah. Actually, I'm embarrassed. I have maybe a Mad Hatchet glass in this house. Like, I don't, on all the glassware we have, I've just never brought it home. I don't know. Like,
so,
guys,
okay, I've talked about this, and Sean, tell me if you can relate. I'm sure you can. I have an absolutely obnoxious amount of glassware here at my house.
Mine started to get that way, and then I just stopped.
Okay,
you know, like,
all right,
yeah. You've seen, I know you've seen pictures on Facebook and stuff of John Bitterman's place, and yes. I'm like, what I would do if I didn't have kids and a wife, man. I would have my whole house would be dedicated to beer. Yeah. But unfortunately, they take up some of the space in this house. So
yeah, that
man's relate.
House is going to be donated to a museum at some point.
Oh man,
yeah.
I tell you, John has been on the show twice now, and he is a wealth of knowledge, to put it mildly.
Oh yeah, and he comes into the brewery every so often, you know, because he goes to all of them. So, but always a good guy to talk to too.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I haven't put that much thought into acid wash, and I mean, if Brando does it, that's what I'm going to do, and that's kind of we were there early on. We used to clean our kegs there before we got our own keg washer, and I was talking to Steve. Steve doesn't work there anymore. I think where's he work? Is it Milk Money or no? But
I haven't heard of Milk Money.
Or yeah, he moved on. It's something weird. I can't remember it. I'm not going to, so I'm going to quit trying to think of it.
Okay.
But he was in there, and he had little tick marks, grease pen tick marks on each fermenter, and I was like, "Oh, what do you got these on here for?" He's like, "Well, every fifth one we acid wash. We just do a caustic and a rinse and a sanitizer." And I was like, "Cool, that's what we now do at Mad Hatchet, because you guys, I haven't had anything bad here, so we'll do what you guys do. You guys have been doing it longer than most of the breweries in the area too. I mean, in brewery years, they're getting ancient, you know, like."
So there is a Milk Money Brewing in LaGrange. Is that what you're thinking of?
I know that it is. I'm not sure that's the one he went to.
Okay.
But yeah, Steve was there forever, or for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, that name does ring a bell, Steve, too.
That's not that far away from your house. Have you been there, Jason?
I have not.
All right.
So, yeah, no excuses. Yeah, just haven't. That is not far from a brewery that, George, I have taken you to. And Sean, I will give another plug to this brewery, because honestly, I really am a fan of what they're doing, and that's Kinslager in Oak Park.
Yeah.
I haven't been. I don't even think I've had any of their stuff. I don't know if they distro a lot or, but normally before our brewery opened, I was at a different brewery every weekend.
Sure.
And now they opened Iron and Glass walking distance from my house here. So
are you that close to their second location?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome.
It's bad for my bank account, but it's awesome otherwise. But so that's kind of how I get my intake of what's going on in the rest of Chicagoland now, because I don't get out to the breweries as much. And so on the way home, it's between the highway and my house too. So on the way home from work, I'll just stop in and build a 4-pack and
There you go.
try 4 new beers that night, or I'll throw an oldie and a goodie, and I got Daisy Cutter right now, which is just, you can't go wrong with it. So
It's a good one.
Yeah.
For sure. So Kinslager craft lagers.
yeah, have you done Goldfinger yet?
Yes, I have.
I've had Iron and Glass has had a couple of their lagers on tap, and I was just drinking it like, shit, we need to brew a lager. Like it got me in the mood for it. Yeah.
Yeah, that place is legit. And just to share some backstory. So the head brewer for Goldfinger is a guy who used to be the head brewer at a place that hosted a monthly homebrewers event that George and I were regulars at.
Oh.
So we knew the guy before Goldfinger opened, and he had shared some wisdom with us along the way, which was awesome. But we did learn along the way that he learned to brew in Germany on some kind of program. So, and he brought that knowledge back here to the U.S.
It had to be the what's the big program out of Chicago? Oh man, that's gonna drive me crazy.
Oh, the Siebel?
Siebel, yeah. So Siebel, I've heard. I haven't talked to anyone who's gone through it, but Siebel, you can start in Chicago, but to finish your master brew, you have to go to Germany and finish there.
Huh.
It could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
So
I'd love to ask him about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
if he that's probably the route he went, I would imagine, or either that, or I don't know how else do you get to Germany from? I mean, I know how you get there, but what would bring you there?
But anyways, I mean, he's got a full background of German beers, how they came about, and what makes them what they are, and that is on full display with what Goldfinger has.
Oh
And
yeah,
I'll tell you, because I went there on one of their opening days, like early, because they opened in 2020, right in the midst of COVID. The most difficult time ever to open a brewery. But one of their opening day beers was a Pilsner. And they pour the Pilsner in the classic sense, where it'll take them a good 5 minutes just to pour this beer.
yeah. So slow poured it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoy it because it's something different. Just the concept of it, pretty much all lager. I mean, we have an all saison brewery, here now. It's crazy.
I've never heard of that. Where's that?
Afterthought. It's somewhere in the 355 88 corridor in that area. I can't remember specifically what town.
So that's Downers Grove, around that area.
Yeah, Downers Grove,
Okay.
Lyle, Glen Ellen, and I don't know it's somewhere in that general
It's
area.
right in my neighborhood. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, but
Okay.
no, it's cool that it's something different, and then it is. I enjoy it because it's something. I get tired of drinking my own beers, to be honest. Like I like them,
Okay.
but I don't know. Even as a homebrewer, I was like, all right, I'm done with my own beer. Like I want some different beer now.
Right. Needs some variety.
Yeah. So, and it's. I think part of it is just because you can turn off your mind while you're drinking it. You're not going, man, that's I didn't taste that last time. You're constantly analyzing it, type thing. But so they're kind of like a 180 from what Mad Hatchet is, and Mad Hatchet is, if you like it, drink it now, because we don't know when we're going to brew it again, and we have too many ideas to promise you anything. We have people. Most recently, we do that horchata cream ale for Cinco de Mayo,
I love that beer.
Our Crowler Club is just blowing up. Like, keep that on year round, and I'm like, nope, nope, no.
Now, okay, so you don't promise those things, and you say, all right, drink it now. If a home brewer were to come to you and say, okay, that horchata cream ale, I really like that. Can I have the recipe for it? Since you're not you don't know when the next time you're brewing it, what's your policy on that?
I'll get you in the ballpark. I'm not giving away the farm, but I'll get you in the ballpark.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, cinnamon, vanilla. That's it. I mean, it's a cream ale. A lot of corn. I think I want to say, I don't know. It's hard because we don't do the same beers all the time. It's hard for me to remember the grist of every single beer, but I want to say it's 50-50 wheat and two-row, and then corn. And then I think we got some flake barley in there. And then this year we added some toasted rice. I'm not giving you ratios or anything, but that's kind of it. And then this year we tried something different. When David came on board with us part time, he's got that culinary background, and so he's like, hey, let's get these specific cinnamon sticks and let's torch them before we put them in the fermenter. So we did that this year, and it added like this real kind of smoothness to the cinnamon versus using just straight cinnamon sticks, or even I've used at home with that recipe, because that recipe was born in my garage. What we would use, I would use powdered whatever cinnamon, but so it added a real smoothness to it. And then, and because it's a horchata, there's lactose in it.
Okay, I was going to ask that question, because
if
it's horchata, I would imagine it has some sort of milk sugar.
Yeah. I remember we were brewing in Mike's garage, and I had a horchata beer from a horchata blonde. Someone brought a bomber of one from another brewery. I'm not going to say who it is, but I just remember being like, man, this could be better. And then literally me and Mike with a pen and paper just going, all right, this is what we'll do. This is what we'll do. This is what we'll do. And I think the next weekend I brewed it in my garage because his tank was full. So it was my turn.
Okay.
But back when I kind of miss those home brewing days. Because just throwing stuff at the wall like crazy. Because if you screw up 10 gallons, you screw up 10 gallons. Now I don't want to screw up.
Brewing wasn't stressful.
Yeah, it's not stressful now. It was at first, definitely when we first opened. Okay. But I think we're efficient in the sense of how we work on our system. I think we're the most efficient that we can be with our current system. And Mike and I particularly, and Kevin and me are pretty close too, where we can brew together and not talk about brewing. Like it just gets done. By the end of the day, the beer's gone. Or the beer's in the tank, and we never even talked about it. We just did it. Yeah.
Just did it.
Yeah. So
we have a special guest here on A Nice Place to Brew. Would you like to introduce yourself?
She's not amused.
No, she's not amused.
Winifred the Brew Dog
wants to talk about beer, all things beer and beer making too.
She's been laying in here the whole time, but yeah. So I've talked to a lot of craft brewers and talked about the concept of a pilot system, and I know that it takes a little bit of time and everything, but with ones you're really not sure about, have you ever considered doing a pilot of it, maybe breaking out that old kit and doing 5-10 gallons of it to see how it turns out? Or
and we have done a couple. Kevin's brewed a couple beers. He's got a grandfather, so his is a little easier than mine to set up. I can't lager anymore because my keezer died, and so the way I had the SS Brewtech half barrel fermenter, and I just had a bucket of water sitting on the condenser in my keezer, and so that's what would pump through the coils in my fermenter to bring it down to temperature.
Okay.
So it wasn't glycol, but I could crash it to about 40. I could crash my fermenter to about 40 degrees before I put it in a keg, and then I could crash it more in the keg.
Okay.
But so because I don't really have any reason to buy a whole new keezer right now or build a whole new keezer, and plus I just, what it is I don't want to carry another one down to the basement because I remember how hard it was to get that one in the basement.
Okay.
But I'll give you. It's a ways coming, but I am, when I redo my basement, I am putting in, like, it's approved through the wifey and everything. I'm putting in a half barrel spike turnkey electric system with glycol fermenters down there, and that will essentially become Sean's madhouse of shit. Mike won't let him brew at Mad Hatchet until he tries it.
Be like, all right, Mike.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Here's my proof of concept right here.
Yeah. I was digging through some extracts and stuff on a website one day. Just kind of, when I'm looking for inspiration for flavors, sometimes I like to do that. My wife also makes candles and sells them at the brewery, so sometimes I go through her scents, like And actually, we have a strawberry shortcake IPA on right now that I remember my wife made a strawberry shortcake candle, and I was like, oh, we need to do a strawberry shortcake IPA. And then I got together just stuff like that. But I saw this extract website had they couldn't call it Baja Blast, but it was basically worded Baja something.
Right.
It made it taste like this
Not
beverage.
Baja Blast.
Yeah, this beverage at a certain taco chain or whatever.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so one thing I wanted to do is just, I mean, it'd be super cheesy, but I think it'd be fun is just do a sour and just put that Baja Blast extract in it so we could have a Baja Blast sour.
Yeah.
Things that would make Polly cringe, you know?
Yeah.
And then some, yeah, and then add some lactose. Yeah, no. No, but that's like the crazy stuff. I just want to try on a whim. Just
yeah.
do a 10-gallon batch of it. If it doesn't turn out, it goes down the drain, and I lost an afternoon. You know.
Right.
So
yeah.
I don't know.
Some people I talk to, and I'm like, well, okay, if you're not sure about something,
I need a refill.
okay, do you have like a pilot system? And like, no, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And I'm like, that's a really expensive. It doesn't work in my mind.
We've had stuff that we were going for this flavor, and it came out another flavor. It wasn't bad. Like, it was still a good beer, but it wasn't what we were aiming for.
Right.
So we've still put it on tap, and a couple of those people really like, and I'm like, I'm mad because we missed the mark.
Right.
And I'm like, shut up, dude. You don't like that.
You think you do, but you don't. Yeah.
And then, there's one beer that I'm thinking in particular, I won't say which one it is, that we missed the mark, and now we make it every year because it sells so well. But yeah, as far as like doing like crazy off the wall stuff like that, we're talking mostly trying to achieve certain flavors and stuff like that. And we'll go for it at the brewery as long as it's not too insane off the wall.
Right.
But I just ordered stuff to do a seltzer, and because why not? All the girls all the wives on my block are drinking seltzers, and I see how much they're paying for them, and so I just ordered that basically Omega seltzer pack. It's not a pack, but it's that Lutra gluten-free yeast, which is a Kveik.
Right.
With they have a specific seltzer yeast nutrient. So we've been doing it at the brewery, and I'm going to throw that. I'm just going to, boil some dextrose, throw it in the tank,
So
pitch that, and throw some coconut and lime at it, I think.
okay, so that's an option, but what I've seen some people doing is kind of taking that seltzer and making a cocktail kind of thing.
Yeah, you're talking about like the heavily pureed ones.
Well, so they make like just a regular seltzer, no flavor, and then let's say somebody wants a lime one, you mix it with a little bit of lime.
Oh yeah.
Syrup basically, and make a cocktail out of it quick.
Yeah.
And those tend to be pretty popular. It gives you a lot of versatility. Like, you have to make the cocktail each time, but it gives you a lot of versatility in what you're serving.
Yeah, and I have made a seltzer at home before where that's what it was. I just have those Brewer's Best little 5-ounce
right
extracts,
yeah.
And I go, "What do you want? Strawberry? Cool, let's go." But
Right.
this one's particularly because we have seen. I don't know if you've had any of the lulls or some of these that are basically they're adding puree, they're adding just about everything to these seltzers now. And I wanted to hate them, but goddamn, they're delicious. Like, so this one's more of an experiment I'm doing for the brewery if it turns out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add, I'm thinking 20 pounds of toasted coconut in the fermenter in secondary. And then I think I would I'm toying right now between using a lime puree or a lime extract, and the only reason I'm thinking that way is because I still would like it to be clear. And if I use the puree, I think it's going to cloudy it up a little bit. But
unless you gelatinize it to drop that out or something, I think probably so. An extract might work better.
Yeah, so it's a flavor profile that I've wanted to do. We have a base wheat beer that we fruit a lot that will just be like, all right, now this time it's got raspberries and blackberries. This time it's got passion fruit. This time we kind of just keep making it and throwing whatever fruits in season at the time at it. And that's one I've wanted to do to that. And that's one that's Mike's like coconut lime. I don't know. So I think if I get this seltzer worked out, we'll be like, oh, that flavor does work too, so.
Right.
But
yeah, I make just carbonated water for the house here. I've got a corny keg. I put it in. And so this time around I made, what did I make? Strawberry lemon. But I've considered taking some lime as well as a thing of coconut water and throwing that in.
Yeah.
And getting that kind of daiquiri kind of flavor to it,
Yeah, and it sounds kind of like gimmicky, but like, because I don't know, the thing I always think about is I remember before hazies, before all these crazy milkshake IPAs and stuff, I remember walking into Noon Whistle and they had a cucumber.
We have talked to the point of exhaustion about this beer.
Oh, that was bad. Never mind, I didn't say anything. But it was one of those beers that you see it on the menu and you got to try it. And then I liked it a lot. And then, but I had it recently and I was like, it's not what I remember, but maybe I've just grown my palate's gotten different with all these crazy flavors nowadays.
So they're still making that beer?
Oh, I don't know. I had it when I say recently. I mean, I'm not good at estimating time right now because COVID was a time warp, but I want to say a year and a half ago, maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Let's find out. You guys keep going.
This does pose an interesting question. Yeah, the infamous tasting that George had, I think, was 2016.
For
yeah.
Birthday.
This is going way. It was on your birthday, yeah.
I was going to say that was about the time I probably drank it too, and I was like, "Geez, this is interesting enough." Like it, I don't know. I was hooked on their Cosmo IPA though at the time too, so I probably wrecked my palate on some Cosmos, then went to that.
Probably.
Well,
I'll never forget the name of that beer because you walk up to the bar and I just felt like a weirdo. Can I have a Cosmo?
Well, credit where credit is due. Noon Whistle has earned a lot of accolades from the Great American Beer Festival since that time, and they have opened a second location in the very lucrative area of Naperville, Illinois. So life is good if you're part of Noon Whistle.
Oh yeah, and I love their beers too. Yeah, I missed being well, I've heard that they bought the Whirly Ball place now in Lombard. I haven't been there since. Is that true? Am I making that up? Did they expand into the Whirly Ball spot next to them?
I believe you're. I know the Whirly Ball spot is no longer there because they packed up and moved to Naperville. Also,
got tired of drunk Whirly Ball players, probably.
well, actually, I think they moved into a much bigger spot. I'll tell you, Whirly Ball for anybody who's listening is a great time. It's well worth going.
12 years, never did it.
Especially with a couple beers in you.
Never, not once.
Some friends you can get real competitive with.
Okay, so
that's true.
Thankfully, for all things decent and holy, their beer Cumbersome, which was their cucumber saison, has been retired.
Oh,
I take
that's
you're not a fan then.
Yeah.
we were not fans. No.
Negative.
Oh, both of you. Oh, jeez.
I drank it.
No. Bringing up sore subjects today.
Yeah.
No, it's one that we enjoy reflecting on. Sometimes you enjoy reflecting on those things that are positive. Sometimes you enjoy reflecting on things that are not so positive.
But I'll tell you this: you're right. Noon Whistle has achieved a bunch of accolades, has expanded quite a bit. Mm-hmm. It is a bit of a testament to say how much a bad experience with one beer. Granted, it was the first beer I had at Noon Whistle.
Ooh, yeah.
Can really color your perceptions because people are telling me, oh, they're winning awards, they're expanding, and my brain goes back to that cucumber beer, and I'm like, how are they still open? And it's just this. It's one of those things, and honestly, it's why I've come to the determination that if you went to a brewery and you really hated it, give it some time and go back.
Oh yeah, and I mean that goes with, and I'm sure people can say this about us as well. Is like if you go there at first, especially after they first open. Mm-hmm. I mean, no matter how much homebrew experience or brewery experience, every setup is different, and you got to kind of wrangle that thing in. So whenever I went to a new brewery, I went there with the thinking I'm going back there in a year again, regardless of what this. Except for Riverlands, because they just killed it right out of the bat. Hold on, I gotta do some parenting here.
Okay, right on. Yeah, he's not joking about Riverlands. That is some solid beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, did I tell you about Unwittingly Overhyped?
No.
Okay, so I told you we went up to Wallenpaupack Brewing up in the Poconos in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
And had a bunch of beer there, and they had this one called Unwittingly Overhyped. It was kind of a milkshake IPA sour. It's everything Polly hates. And but I'll tell you, it was really very tasty. It had a lot of really good character to it, and it was just that tart side of sour that is really kind of nice.
Okay.
My dad and I both loved it. My mom took one sip and was like, "Oh God, no!" and gave me another glass. So, but it like I said, it just goes to show you is like that can sometimes be your can affect your taste a little bit. So,
well, in Noon Whistle, sorry,
no, go ahead.
I cut you off. Noon Whistle is. Have you had their 360 cans?
No, I don't think so.
When you pop the lid on the can, it's the whole top is open.
No.
They passed. That was illegal. Yeah, that was illegal, and they helped have legislation passed in Illinois to make them legal.
Why on earth would that be illegal?
I don't know. Why is there's so many stupid laws, especially with alcohol.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, you can drink here, but you can't drink here. You can drink here, you can't drink here. That type of stuff.
On your shirt,
this way,
Sean?
but not this way.
I got a pseudo Sue shirt on.
Oh, okay.
Pseudo Sue.
Yeah. Another podcaster, Joe Bobby, gave me this when he was working at Crafted. I showed up there one day after work, and when he was working at Crafted, not Phase 3, and he was like, "Hey, you want a shirt?" Okay. I was like, "I always take a free shirt."
Yeah.
Sure. I still have not met the famous Joe Bobby.
We did last week we did a golf outing, and he was there for Phase 3. Yeah, he didn't golf.
Okay.
I was excited. I wanted to see his swing, but no.
Any further developments on the infamous 0.5K?
Okay, George is a big fan of the concept of our 0.5K.
As am I. I was talking to Kevin. I don't know if you were around last night, Jason, but I was like, well, first off, we need to have a JVG officers get together here.
We are due
dinner, and we need to number one figure out the picnic for sure, because me and Kev got ideas, but we just want to budget stuff. We want to make sure we're good. Okay, and then the other thing I told Kev is like, we got to get this 0.5K on the calendar before you're not president anymore, and before I'm not an officer anymore. That is going to be our stamp, the annual JVG. I was telling him because Matt over at Iron and Glass here's dad is the mayor of Minooka. I was like, we can get it done in Minooka if Joliet doesn't want to do it. And then last night, the mayor of Shorewood was in, and I was like, look, we got him too. I was like, we can make this happen. I insist we do. It's Kev's idea, but as soon as he brought it up, I'm the one who keeps going, we need to do that. Kev, we need to do that. Kev, the 0.5K. Don't forget about the 0.5K. I want to get cheesy plastic medals for the finish line. I'm so excited. I have so many ideas. We'll have a best dressed award, I'm assuming, like whoever's in the best running getup.
That seems very appropriate.
Yep.
So we got competition among towns as to who's going to host this.
Yeah, as the Joliet Brewers Guild, Joliet wins if they want to let us do it, but we got some backup plans too. But
so let me see here.
It's 0.31 miles.
0.31 miles. Okay,
it's probably that's roughly. Oh yeah, it's 500 meters.
It's
0.5K, 500 meters.
Yeah, it's.
So if you guys went Chicago Street up to Clinton, over to Ottawa, back down and around, that would be basically you could basically do that block, start and end at Chicago Street, and 2.5.
That's key because I don't want people. I want it to start and end in the same spot because people are going to be so exhausted from the race that I just want them to be near their cars,
right?
And ready to, get them hydrated and get them home safe, that type of thing.
That's important. We got to take care of our people.
I want to get signs put up along the street. You're almost there. Keep going. Maybe like the kitten hanging from the branch. Hang in there. Like those those motivational posters.
Oh, man.
You also mentioned about having a cigar lounge break area.
Yeah, the halfway point, we're going to cone off a cigar lounge break area. And I think that's how the JBG is going to make a little money off it is we'll go buy a couple boxes of cigar and sell some sticks there. Actually, there might be completely illegal. But I don't know. Under the table. That's not happening at all. Never mind.
Unless you can find a situation where they run past, and actually, you could do this in Downers Grove. You could run down and you'll pass right by a cigar place.
Yeah.
Then you could link up with them.
I wonder if we could could include a cigar in the price of a ticket. Like you could go pick up your one cigar at the halfway point, take a break. You've earned it.
Well, you could just tape off a little circle area and just throw in a circle of chairs and.
Oh yeah, that's how it's going to be with some big urns of ashtrays, like something massive.
Yeah,
I picture it being brass. Just maybe.
It's true, Sean. You don't necessarily have to provide the cigars. You could use BYO cigar and just provide the lounge area.
For sure.
It's true.
Yeah.
Maybe get a couple beanbag chairs and a lava lamp. I don't know.
Oh, I like that.
I don't know. I recently sat in a beanbag chair, and man, they're hard to get out of.
It's not what you remember, right?
No, yeah, something with this brewer's belly it makes it a little difficult.
Yeah. So.
What do you guys? I heard you said you're planning on brewing or trying to find a brew. What are you brewing?
So traditionally in the summer I'll brew a lemon lime shandy.
Oh, okay.
Or make a shandy and then use lemon lime zest and the juice from them as well.
Awesome.
And that turns out really, really well and nice and light, good lawnmower beer. And so I was thinking about maybe trying to get that in for Labor Day. But I got to do that real soon if I'm going to do it.
I'm going to say you're running out of time for summer. I hate to say it.
I know. And so that's in the back of my head too, is if I'm running out of time for summer, do I lean more towards a fall beer? Because my summer, frankly, is getting away from me. So
I don't think there'd be any shame. I recently helped one of our servers wanted to learn to homebrew, and I helped her do a DME Hefeweizen. And if you wanted to just do something real quick just to have it on, they got some great extracts now that weren't available to me. But I mean, I have an extract brewed since 2010.
That's
either.
If you just want, 2015 is probably the last one.
Yeah, if you just wanted to get a wheat based liquid malt or a DME, I mean, you could throw that together quick and cut brew day in half.
Yeah.
Just to get it in. I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out there. I couldn't believe some of the. Well, I mean, Northern Brewer was pretty much where Northern Brewer and War Beer when I first started brewing were like everything was.
Yeah.
The only homebrew store, the nearest one to me was Richmond at the time, and that was about 2.5 hours, I think. But because I was in Norfolk at the time, so everything was hope your yeast arrives and still works,
Right.
and all that stuff. So I just couldn't believe what. Yeah, I just walked past the DME and these homebrew stores forever, and I was like, oh man, they got some kind of good ones now. And I'll tell you what, that Hefeweizen we helped our bartender make, it's a damn good Hefeweizen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's an idea. I've not extract brewed in a long time. Hell, since we started, basically.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm wrong. The longest day, that second one was a extract.
That was
brew.
2015.
Yeah, so it's still been a dog's age.
That's dating quite a bit.
Damn.
So yeah, that'd be interesting to do a quick extract brew day.
That's really
See
interesting.
how that turns out.
Yeah, the extracts have evolved with the craft brewing times.
I don't know. Maybe I just don't remember. Maybe this stuff was available, but I really didn't know what I was looking at.
Yeah,
that could very well be it too.
I believe you.
I don't think so.
I really
because I think it used to be just light and dark DME, and that was pretty much
Yeah.
it.
That's what I remember.
Do you want dark sugar or light sugar?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Plan your hops, plan your yeast, and get your bottles ready. That was pretty much that
Put
whole
in
process.
the carbonation tablets.
The oh my god, those tablets were freaking horrible.
They were so bad.
I did 3 DME batches and then just realized I was hooked. And so I did one. I don't even remember what a partial mash brew is, but I know I did it. And I'm like, I'm doing all the work of all grain, but not doing all grain. And then I went all grain.
Was it brew in a bag?
No, partial mash. You basically you steep the specialty grains. You use your DME for your base grains and base malts. And
I think there was more to that, but
are they milled grains?
Yeah, you have like milled grains. You steep them in a muslin bag in the boil for a bit.
There was something more to it.
Was there?
Because I don't know, like maybe people gave up on that because of the very reason I said. But I mean, in 2008 there wasn't a lot homebrewing isn't what it is now, and I mean you had online forums and stuff, and I remember partial mash. All right, cool, and I think I still had to build a mash tun, but I could be messing this all up. But like, yeah, it was basically like, all right, I'm in, I'm building a mash tun, I'm doing all grain, and then it's still my favorite part of brew day when you do the mash. And especially if you're doing a beer that has to be a specific color, or even a stout where you just want to see that, and you see that first runnings come off and you see the colors perfect. That's still my favorite part of brew day. But I remember seeing that for the first time. I think I brewed what was my first all grain? I think it was a brown, and I remember it came out brown, and I was like, babe, come outside and look at this. It's brown water. Just she's like cool, dumbass. But
yeah,
that brings a lot of things to mind, because for the longest time, my favorite part of my all grain brew day is the initial mash in, and that oatmeal smell that you get as the water hits the grains.
Oh yeah. That
part's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one thing that's cool. Like, senseless plug here, but that's the one thing that's cool about Mad Hatchet. It's not cool for us, but it's cool for the customers, because me and Mike and Kevin and David all have full-time jobs. So we brew on Saturdays. So Saturday we open at noon, and you come in there, and the parking lot, because the exhaust hood is going, just smells like.
Yeah.
You can just smell it. The brewery just reeks of brewing,
That's
like it's awesome. Yeah. And I used to, Jamie, Mike's wife, used to joke, because people would like be standing at the little half wall watching us brew. she'd go up to him, "Don't feed the brewers," type thing. So now she hung up a sign that says like petting zoo rules on the half wall there. So yeah. But
so do you guys never get more than one brew in per week?
I mean, over the summer, it's nice because Kev's a teacher, and David works only weekends. So David's kind of been doing all the cellarman duties most part during the week, which has been nice because I don't have to do them after work as much anymore. But
Okay.
Since Kev was on summer break, they brewed a couple. They would go. It was a lot more double batches than just a batch during the week. It was, they'd brew Friday, and me and Mike would finish it off and go into the same tank with 6 barrels, or if
Like
we did
a
a high
second turn or something.
yeah, second turn of the same beer. Or if we were doing a high gravity brew, we'd come in close to 10 barrels. So,
Okay.
but yeah, so I mean, we cranked out a lot of beer this summer, but now Kev's back in school, I think, starting this week. So we got to figure it out again. And then, because me and Kev have bankers holidays because he's a teacher, and my job gives me all the national holidays just so they can charge our customers more on those days if they want us in. So, so like if we have a Monday off, a lot of times Kev or me will go twice, and we'll go Saturday, like me and Mike, Sunday, me and Kev, because me and Kev still have Monday to recover for, we have our one day off type thing. And then, or vice versa, Kev will go 2 days and I'll finish with him Sunday.
Okay.
But, yeah, so we've done that. But yeah, the good thing is that with the school season, winter tends to be, it's just slow. It's just what it is. So winter's we can slow down a little bit, and that's when we can throw more of our crazy stuff in the tanks, and I want to try this, or, I want to lager this, which is going to hold up a tank for a month, or that type of stuff. Or that's when we tend to do, let's brew a stout, but let's put this crazy thing in it type thing,
Right. Yeah.
So, because we can only do a stout, we can only do an over 10% stout. We can only do 2 barrels at a time because our mash tun isn't physically big enough to get our ABV that high at 3 barrels. So we go from a 3 barrel to a 2 barrel. Luckily, our fermenters don't care how much beer is in them as long as it reaches all the temp probes and everything. So, but yeah, so all our high ABV stuff over 10 specifically is normally in a 2 barrel batch. So that's when we can throw stuff like that in there, where you're tying up a tank on a stout. You're normally tying it up for about a month for a 10% beer.
Right.
And I mean, I like stouts all season long, but the majority of drinkers don't really pound stouts in the summer, or at least high ABV ones. We got a 8. I think it's clocking in 8.4. We got a coconut chocolate almond stout about ready to pop here. I think it'll be out I think we'll probably end up crashing it this week. It was tasting a little hot last week. I haven't tasted it this week, but let that booziness kind of mellow for another week, and then hopefully be kegging it next week.
Okay.
But that we were able to do 3 barrels because we brought the ABV down to 8% because it's still pretty warm outside.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, well, fellas, I am starting to fade here. I gotta get some stuff done before I turn in for the night.
Right on. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's wrap it up.
Okay.
Sean McTiggy from Mad Hatchet Brewing Company, thank you so much for joining us. This was awesome.
No
And
problem.
it's nice to hear about another guy out there who enjoys his stouts year round, because you're speaking my language.
I saw Paulie ditched you, and I was like, I'm actually sober right now, which I normally don't come on here very sober, and I didn't even make it through a full beer, so I must have been talking too much. So
You came off very well.
Yeah,
as always,
no,
and
you're doing
thank you
great.
so much.
cheers, guys.
Cheers. Join us next week, next Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We will be broadcasting here on Facebook and YouTube. Check out our back catalog. It's available on YouTube. We've done upwards of 100 episodes now, web streams of A Nice Place to Brew. Check out the back catalog between now and Thursday when we broadcast again. we have an audio podcast under the same name, A Nice Place to Brew, that's available on all the podcasting platforms. We do have a new episode that will be coming out soon. That is in the works. Look out for that. Our website is www.aniceplacetobrew.com, and our social media links are A Nice Place to Brew and Nice Place to Brew. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you're enjoying a cold beer. Hope your brewing projects are going fantastically. And before we sign off, we raise a glass one last time and we say, it takes a lot of good beer to make great beer. Cheers everybody.